So we have already read it. So I will start again and I'll remind you of what he's saying. Okay. There are 4 theories of existence and the aims of those theories. The first theory is he has taken up. Actually, he doesn't go serially. Okay, he doesn't go serially from the bottom or from the top. He doesn't do that. Even in Life Divine, he has done that. First, he talks about the Satchidananda, and then he comes down to matter. Okay, so here also he has done that same thing. Okay, the first one is the supra-terrestrial. Okay? Sorry, the supra-cosmic. Okay, the supra-terrestrial is something else. The supra-cosmic is that means above the physical world. Okay, so supra-cosmic is Buddhism and Mayavada, where the physical world is unreal. It's an illusion. There is no reality to it. So, what is the aim of life? To go to the supracosmic world, which is absolutely real, and that is where the soul's original home is. So, that is where they go. Okay? So, that's the first thing. The second theory, he comes down again from that higher, he comes down to the material world. And in the material world, he says that the belief is that matter is the only reality and nothing else is real. So if that is the truth, then can there be an aim to life? Can there be an ideal? And he has given three actually examples. The first example of a materialistic man is he lives for himself. There is no aim, there is no purpose in life. He just lives for himself in a selfish manner without questioning from where he has come or what is his purpose in life, nothing. He gets his education, he gets married, he has children, he maybe earns some money and leaves the world. There is no purpose at all. But there can be another man who is a little more idealistic. He doesn't believe that there is anything else except the physical world, but he says that we can put a little bit of meaning to life by having an ideal. So that ideal can be of many types. It can be that you help mankind, or it can be that I can do something which will be of permanent value to mankind. Okay, as we discussed yesterday, the one who is, if he is a materialist, he could have invented the mobile, he could have invented the car, he could have invented the aeroplane. He is a materialistic man, but he has done something which will benefit mankind forever. Okay. Then the third one is the one who wants to help mankind. Okay. So he is the one who is a philanthropist and he is doing something. And there are so many ways of leaving your stamp on the physical world. Even if you plant a tree, the ones who are going to come after you will enjoy the fruits of that one. So this is a materialistic aim that he has discussed. There can be some aim, but not the highest spiritual aim. Certainly not. Okay. Then he comes to the supra-terrestrial. Okay. So the supra-terrestrial is all the religions fall in that category. So in other words, they believe that the physical world is real and the other worlds also are real, and that's why there is a purpose to life. You have to go from the lower to the higher, and there is your permanent home. Okay, so this is the Christian theory, the Islamic theory. Many other religions also think like that. Okay, even in our Mayavada Vedantic theory, which is not the last one of Srendo's, they also have the same idea that the physical world is, you have come here for your training of the soul, but actually you have to go there to the higher level of consciousness. In between these is the Gita's theory that you can remain in the physical world after getting your liberation. You come down to the physical world and help the others. Okay, that is all. That is help the others, although there is no perfection here. That's a theory. Then the last one is Srendo's theory, which says that there can be perfection here in the physical world. The physical world is real, the spiritual world is real, and the Brahmic consciousness also is real, and the supramental also is real. All are real, but there is a gradation of reality. So now we have discussed the third thing, which I am now going to again read out the summary, because yesterday we did that, but it will refresh your memory. Then we will read today what we have to read. Okay. Now we come to the third theory, the supra-terrestrial. And what are the characteristics of supra-terrestrial? Here, the reality of the physical world is admitted. But in addition, there are other subtler planes of existence. Okay. There is the higher mind, elemental mind, intuitive mind. These are Srendo's appellations, but they don't apply to the other theories. Okay. These are more permanent than the physical. They are static worlds. There is no evolution there in those worlds. The physical world is real, but it's in constant motion and constant transience. Nothing is permanent here in the physical world. Okay. So here in this theory, man has a soul which is immortal. His body, life, and mind are constructions of nature which the soul occupies temporarily. Okay? So the individual has his real home in the supra-terrestrial, but takes birth in the cosmos for experience. This experience is usually conceived of as a deviation or a fall from the celestial state above the world. This is what he has said in the previous one. Now we come back to, we will discuss the different grades, the different variations of this theory. Okay? So I am reading each sentence and then particularly he will discuss the Christian theory, and also the other theories are not very clearly mentioned, but the Christian theory is very clearly mentioned, how illogical it is. I am reading the paragraph that we have to read today. Yesterday we read it, but today I am reading each sentence. But what then is the character, the origin, and the end of this deviation? Yes. There is first the idea of certain religions. There you are very clearly mentioned. Even the Islamic religion also is there. We have to go to heaven finally. And their idea is that you enjoy everything that you did not enjoy on earth. That is a little illogical, but anyway, that is there. There is first the idea of certain religions, long persistent, from a long time they are there, but now greatly shaken or discredited, that man is a being primarily created as a material living body upon earth, into which a newly born divine soul is breathed. Okay? It is breathed, and else with which it is associated by the fire of an almighty creator. The almighty creator is God, and he says, I am creating a soul, and I am putting that soul into a body-mind life created by nature. Okay. Now, this solitary episode, this life, is his one opportunity from which he departs to a world of eternal bliss or to a world of eternal misery. Either according to the general or preponderant balance of his acts is good or evil, or according as he accepts or rejects, knows or ignores a particular creed, mode of worship, divine mediator, or else according to the arbitrary predestining caprice of his creator. He has included both Islam as well as Christianity. We'll discuss it. A solitary episode. In the Christian theory, I think also in the Islamic, there is, you have only one life on earth. And in that one life, you have to either do good or evil depending on what you are doing. And if you do good, you will be rewarded at the end of this one single life. You will go to heaven. But if you do something which is evil, you will suffer and you will have to go to hell and suffer eternal punishment. Eternal punishment. Okay. So this is the idea they have of God. Okay. A solitary episode, this life is one opportunity from which it departs, only one opportunity. Whereas the Indian theory has got 100,000 lives, not one opportunity. One opportunity is so cruel. Okay? You can always get a second chance, a third chance. That is mercy and that is compassion. But here only one life. Okay? And opportunity from which it departs to a world of eternal bliss or to a world of eternal misery. Eternal bliss is heaven and eternal misery is hell. Either according as a general or preponderant balance of his acts is good or evil. According as he accepts or rejects, knows or ignores a particular creed, mode of worship, divine mediator. Okay. Now, who is rejecting? In the Christian theory, there is no rejection. You are only accepting your own theory. But in the other ones, okay, you have to accept that Allah is the only reality. If you if you reject that, you are punished. And if others also don't accept, they are likely to be eliminated from the physical world. Okay. So he is very clearly mentioning that. Okay. You accept or you don't accept, then there are consequences. As in Islam, it's very clearly mentioned there that those who don't believe in Allah have no right to live. Okay. So this is what he's saying. If he acts is good or evil according to as he accepts or rejects, knows or ignores a particular creed, mode of worship, divine mediator, or else according to divine mediator, not a word, messenger of God. He is a mediator. He is not God. He is a mediator. He is a messenger of God. Okay? So, or else according to the arbitrary predestining caprice of his creator. Now, but that is the supraterrestrial theory of life in its least rational form of questionable creed and dogma. So why is Sri saying it is questionable? First of all, a God who is punishing you, what sort of a God is he? Okay? He cannot be, he has only one way of acting. Secondly, the irrationality in the Christian theory is several. The first irrationality is this very interesting argument. Okay, no. The soul is created. In the Indian theory of Vedanta, it is not created. It always was and always will be. But in the Christian theory, a soul is created and put into a body-mind life. But he will, after that, there is no end to it. He is eternal. So that which has a beginning has no end. Now this is irrational. Okay. There is the argument given in Life Divine, and he says that I make a hypothesis. The hypothesis is that which has a beginning must necessarily have an end. And that which has no beginning cannot have an end. And if someone challenges me, this is a hypothesis. If someone challenges me, the burden of proof to the contrary is his, not mine. Okay? So this is the argument. I will not prove that what I'm saying. Something which is a beginning must necessarily end. We see that very clearly in the physical world. Everything has a beginning and an end. But that which has no beginning cannot have an end. So I came across this actually first in Vivekananda. And Srimad also has used this argument. And you throw the burden of proof on the opponent who is challenging you. Okay. This is also very clearly, there are two ways of doing this. In all legal systems also, we are discussing a little bit of logic here. There are many systems of justice. In some systems, a criminal has to prove that he is not a criminal. He has to prove himself to be innocent. In the other case, the criminal is supposed to be innocent and you have to prove that he is a criminal. In the other case, the criminal who is accused has to prove that he is innocent. The burden of proof is on him and the burden of proof is on the challenger, the prosecutor. Okay, so these are two different systems. So anyway, that is besides. Now, this is establishing least rational form of questionable creed and dogma. Then the other one about the enjoyment in heaven of things which you did not have in the body here. That also is irrational, because when you are in a body and you are enjoying all your suffering, you have a body and the body is enjoying its suffering. But when you go to heaven, okay, Jannah and Jannat, when you go to Jannat, okay, you don't have a body. So how are you going to enjoy bodily? That's also irrational. But still they have that idea that when you go there, you will enjoy all the things that you did not enjoy here. The idea of spiritual enjoyment is not there. Huh? Be very careful. The idea of spiritual enjoyment is not there. It is the enjoyment in the physical world that you missed. You will get there. Okay. So these are all the irrational forms of religion. Questionable creator. Taking the idea, I'm reading the next sentence. Taking the idea of the creation of the soul by the physical birth as our starting point, we may still suppose that by a natural law common to all, the rest of his existence has to be pursued beyond in a supraterrestrial plane. When the soul has shaken off from its original matrix of matter, like a butterfly, escaped from the chrysalis and disporting itself in the air on its light and colored wings. There is a theory, both in Christianity as well as in Islam, this is the theory. The soul in the body has to throw off the body-mind life and go up into the and soar into the heavens. Or we may suppose preferably a pre-terrestrial existence of the soul. Now, this is the Advaita philosophy. There is a soul is immortal. Even before he came into the physical world, he was always existing. Okay, this is the Vedanta. Or we may suppose preferably a pre-terrestrial existence of the soul, not created in time and space, but always there. A fall or descent into matter and a reascension into celestial being. Now this is the normal Indian idea, that the soul has to come down, take birth, repeated births, not one life, and go back again to the higher worlds. Okay? Or we may suppose preferably a pre-terrestrial existence of the soul, a fall or descent into matter, and a reascension into celestial being. The fall is the involution, if you want, and the reascension is the evolution of the being. If we admit the soul's pre-existence, that means today the soul has no beginning, it has always existed. There is no reason to exclude this last possibility as an occasional spiritual occurrence. Okay? A being belonging to another plane of existence may conceivably assume for some purpose the human body and nature, but this is not likely to be the universal principle of earth existence or a sufficient rationale for the creation of a material universe. So what's interesting is very interesting. I'll just tell you. He's saying that a soul, now we take the case of the soul, which has always existed. But this soul comes down into the physical world for one life. Okay? It's a very interesting thing what I'm discussing now. It is, he has said very clearly that Shelley was a poet, English poet, and he came down to the physical world for the psychic experience. Okay? So this is what he's discussing here. There is no reason to exclude this last possibility as an occasional spiritual occurrence. Occasional, not repeated. Okay? Once he has come down only. A being belonging to another plane of existence, case of Shelley very clearly, may conceivably assume for some purpose the human body and nature. In Shelley's case, the purpose was to have psychic experience. And all his poetry, okay, all his poetry is psychic. He is very famous for his psychic. The Skylark, okay, that's one of the poems. And the longing of the night for the morrow Okay, the uh, the the night for the morn. Okay, so all this is there. The aspiration, the psychic aspiration, very clearly mentioned in the poems. So same is mentioned in one life only, although the soul is important. Then a being belonging to another plane of existence may conceivably assume for some purpose the human body and nature. That purpose is for experience only. In Shelley's case, it was psychic experience. But this is not likely to be the universal principle of Earth's existence or a sufficient rationale for the creation of a material universe. So now he is coming to what is the purpose of this material existence? If the soul comes down once and goes up, what is the purpose? It's not very rational. The rationality comes in when the soul which has come here gets repeated chances to perfect itself by evolution. That is what you will come. So he has discussed each and every case and all the variations of each case. Okay? Even in the Vedantic theory, the soul is immortal, but you come down only for one life. Okay? Even the gods, it is said that if they want to evolve, they have to come down, take birth in a human body. Because why? Because all the supra-terrestrial worlds are clearly non-evolutionary. They are all static, if you remember. You remember that when you go to the self, it's immutable. There is no movement there at all. You are absolutely static condition. No movement. So therefore, the evolution is there only on the physical world because there is time and space. There is movement. And movement implies progress and a growth. But when there is no movement, how can there be growth? Okay? So this is the thing. So there has to be, now he comes to the next one. It is also sometimes supposed. We'll read that para and discuss it. It is also sometimes supposed. So one of you has to read it. So who will read? Anyone? Volunteer? Nobody? Then I will have to say. Okay. Okay, Suki and Kiran, both are saying yes. Okay, Kiran, go ahead. Can you read?
Yes, Ranga.
Okay, Kiran, go ahead. It is also sometimes supposed, and then we'll discuss it.
Yes. It is also sometimes supposed that the solitary life on earth is a stage only, and the development of the being nearer to its original glory occurs in a succession of worlds, which are so many other stages of its growth, stadia of its journey. The material universe, or earth especially, will then be a sumptuously appointed field created by divine power, wisdom, or caprice for the enacting of this interlude. According to the way we choose to take the matter, we shall see in it a place of ordeal, a field of development, or a scene of spiritual fall and exile. There is too an Indian view which regards the world as a garden of the divine Leela, a play of the divine being with the conditions of cosmic existence in this world of an inferior nature. The soul of man takes part in the Leela through a protracted series of births, but it is destined to reascend at last into the proper plane of the divine being and there enjoy an eternal proximity and communion. This gives a certain rationality to the creative process and the spiritual adventure, which is either absent or not clearly indicated in the other accounts of this kind of soul movements or soul cycle. Always, there are three essential characteristics in all these varying statements of the common principle. First, the belief in the individual immortality of the human spirit. Secondly, as a necessary consequence, the idea of its on earth as a temporary passage or a departure from its highest eternal nature and of a heaven beyond as its proper habitation. Thirdly, an emphasis on the development of the ethical and spiritual being as the means of ascension and therefore the one proper business of life in this world of matter.
So he has given you again many, many more variations, okay, possibilities of how there all these theories are there. Man holds all these theories. So it is also sometimes supposed that this solitary life on earth, one life on earth, is a stage only, and the development of the being nearer to its original glory occurs in a succession of worlds which have so many other stages of its growth, stadia of its journey. So now let's look at this carefully. It is also sometimes supposed that the solitary life on earth is a stage only, and the development of the being nearer to its original glory. Which is original glory? Is come from the divine. Okay, he may not be the divine, but he has come from the divine. That's the original glory. Occurs in a succession of worlds. You go from the physical world to the spiritual world, and in the spiritual world also there are many, many planes, okay, which have so many other stages of its growth, stadia of its journey. One life, but after that one life, you are going into the other worlds. Okay? And therefore here, the theory that even in the other worlds you can progress. Although the Vedantic theory does not admit that. Okay? So this one theory is possible, so they say. Okay? The material universe or earth especially will then be a sumptuously appointed field created by a divine power, wisdom, or caprice, depending on how you want to look at it. Okay? The world is created by divine power, or a divine wisdom, or a caprice. I mean, in a very light-hearted manner, he has created the world for the enacting of this interlude. Which is the interlude? The soul is eternal and it comes down once into the physical world. That's an interlude. Okay? So, according to the view we choose to take of the matter. So, he is telling you, you can think of the physical world as a created for divine power, or for divine wisdom, or for caprice. So, depending on what you want to believe in. Okay? What is the divine power is there. There in the Christian theory itself, there are some people who feel that the divine is a king and a judge, and his only power is the element, but there is no, the other things are not, they may be there, but they are not prominent. Okay? Wisdom, all these things are not there. Compassion, no. He is thought of as a judge and a king. He will punish you or reward you. Okay? Divine power. So, I told you Calvin, no? He was a French man, but he was in England, and he was a priest. So this is his idea, Calvin. Wisdom or caprice and the enacting of the interlude. According to the view we choose of the matter, we choose to take of the matter, we shall see in it a place of ordeal, a field of development, or a scene of spiritual fall and exile. So, a place of ordeal is it's a place of suffering. That's a Mayavada theory and the Buddhist theory. Okay? So you have to go away from there. Or a field of development. This is the Advaita theory, and the Vedantic theory, that the physical world is an opportunity for you to develop. Okay? Because there is movement and evolution there. Or a scene of a spiritual fall and exile, there is a Christian theory. Okay? Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit and were exiled from heaven to go to earth. Okay? That's a Christian theory. There is too an Indian view which regards the world as a garden of the divine Leela. There is a Vaishnava theory that the divine is playing. He is enjoying himself and playing, and the world is a playground. A play of the divine being with the conditions of cosmic existence in this world as of an inferior nature. The higher nature is above, and the world is of an inferior nature, but it's a playground of the soul, playground of the divine. The soul of man takes part in the Leela through a protracted series of births. So now it's not only one birth, but there are many births. but it is destined to reascend at last into the proper plane of the divine being, and there enjoy an eternal proximity and communion. Note very interestingly that it is still not Sri. The soul, when it is fully developed, it goes into the higher world and remains there. Never thinks of coming down. Okay? And this is absolutely a fact, because all these words which are there above, there are rishis, there are mahatmas, there are gandharvas. All these beings are there always in all these physical world, and they don't come down, but they interact with humans. Okay? Apsaras. All these are facts actually. They are not imaginations. They really populate all these supra-physical worlds. Okay? So, the soul of man takes part in the Leela through a protracted series of births, many births. But at last it will go up. Okay? But it is destined to reascend at last into the proper plane of the divine being, and there enjoy an eternal proximity and communion. Proximity and communion to the divine. Okay? So, this is still not a divine central series. It is variations of the third extraterrestrial view. This gives a certain rationale, or you can pronounce it as rationale. Rationale means the reason. So, to the creative process and the spiritual adventure, which is either absent or not clearly indicated in the other accounts of this kind of soul movement or soul cycle. So, Chandra is saying that now in this theory of Leela, at least there is some meaning in the creation of the world. The world is created for enjoyment. Okay? It's a play. So there is a purpose. In the other theories, there is no purpose at all. Okay? Why to come down here at all? Okay? When you are ultimately you have to go up. So in the Christian theory and the Islamic theory, there is no evolution. You just come here and then go up again to be punished or rewarded. So you can see how he's saying. And then now, there are two things. Okay, here. Always wait. Take part with takes part in the Leela through a protracted series of births, but is destined to reascend at last into the proper plane of the divine being, and there enjoy an eternal proximity and communion. Okay? But this gives a certain rationality to the creative process and the spiritual adventure, which is either absent or not clearly indicated in the other accounts of this kind of soul movement or soul cycle. Soul movement, only one life. Soul cycle, many lives. Okay? So, but always the end is up there, not here. So the main contention is everything has to be here, down here, not there. Okay? That's a big difference. He has discussed all the variations of theories. Now ultimately he will come to his own theory. Always, I'm reading the next sentence. Always, there are three essential characteristics in all these varying statements of the common principle. First, the belief in the individual immortality. Not that these only the third, the terrestrial, supra-terrestrial view, these are the three characteristics common to all of them. Belief in the individual immortality of the human spirit. Okay, number one. Secondly, as a necessary consequence, the idea of its sojourn on earth as a temporary passage or a departure from its highest eternal nature and of a heaven beyond as its proper habitation. So all Christianity, Islam, all the other religions also, and even the Leela, okay, the theory of Leela, this is the thing. The Mayavad also same thing. You have to go there, and that is your proper home, not this. Okay? Thirdly, an emphasis on the development of the ethical and spiritual being as a means of ascension, and therefore the one proper business of life in this world of matter. You have to develop yourself. The world is created for development. Okay? So, this is what Chandra is saying in 35. We have only 5 minutes left. We can read the next one. These are the three fundamental ways of seeing. Okay? What are the three ways? Supra-cosmic, supra-terrestrial, and material. These are the three views you can have. Very clear now what he's saying. Supra terrestrial, the physical world is real, the other worlds also are real. The supra-cosmic, the physical world is not real. Only the supra-cosmic is real. And the third one, the materialist one, only the material world is real and there are no other worlds. So now we'll read this one. So any one of you. Kiran read, Shilpa or Seema, one of you if you are there. Seema, you are there? Okay, Shilpa is there. Yeah, you can read. These are the three fundamental ways of seeing.
Shilpadi, please continue.
Okay. These are the three fundamental ways of seeing, each with its mental attitude towards life, that can be adopted with regard to our existence. The rest are usually midway station or else variations or composites which attempt to adapt themselves more freely to the complexity of the problem. For particularly, it is impossible for a man taken as a race, what, whatever a few individuals may succeed in doing, to guide his life permanently or wholly by the leading motive of any of these three attitudes, uniquely to the exclusion of the other's claim upon his nature. A confused amalgam a confused amalgam of two or more of them, a conflict of division of his life motives between them, or some attempts at synthetic a synthesis is his way of dealing with the various impulses of his complex being and the intuition of his mind to which they appear for their sanction. Almost all men normally devote the major part of their energy to the life on earth, to the terrestrial needs, interests, desires, ideas of the individual and the race. It could not be otherwise for the care of the body, the sufficient development and satisfaction of the vital and mental being of man, the pursuit of high individual and large collective ideals, which starts from the idea of an attainable human perfection or nearer approach to perfection through his normal development, are imposed upon us by the very character of our terrestrial being. They are part of its law, its natural impulse and rule, its condition of growth, and without these things, man could not attain to his full manhood. Any view of our being which neglects unduly, belittles, or intolerantly condemns them is therefore, by that very fact, whatever its other truth or merit or utility, or whatever its suitability to individuals of a certain temperament or in a certain stage of spiritual evolution, unfit to be the general and complete rule of human living, nature takes good care that the race shall not neglect these aims, which are necessary part of our evolution, for they fall within the method and stages of the divine plan in us, and vigilance for our first steps and for the maintenance of their mental and material ground is a preoccupation which she cannot allow to go into the background, since these things belong to the foundation and body of her structure.
So he has still not come to his own, but he has given a hint at the end, okay, that there must be a meaning to life on earth. Okay. So I'll do one thing. We've got only 1 minute. I'll just read out the summary, and next time we'll redo this properly. Okay. I'm reading out the summary. Man's existence and life can be understood in these ways that we have examined. Number one, only the Supreme Absolute Divine, only the Supreme Absolute Divine is real. All else is illusion and appearance only. The second one, only the material cosmos is real. All else, life, emotions, thoughts, are all products of matter. There is no other reality. The material world is the third one. The material world is real, so are also the other subtler worlds, including the highest absolute divine reality. The soul whether it be cosmic or individual, descends voluntarily or is exiled into the material world, but only to go back ultimately after death of the body to its native home. Man conceives his existence in the light of one of these theories or a mixture of them. Most men spend a large part of their life to improve their physical condition. He has a body, life, and mind which he tries to develop. But the nature of the world is imperfect and limited. Therefore, man becomes acutely aware of his imperfection and tries to escape from them by developing himself. The idea of an attainable perfection is implanted in man and he attempts individual and collective perfection. Any view that denies or belittles or neglects the perfection of body, life, and mind cannot qualify for a complete perfection. The rejection of body, life, and mind might suit some individuals, but they will never achieve a complete and synthetic perfection. Nature herself ensures their perfection by development and insistence on the importance of the material world. This is what he said in the Bible. So finally, he is telling you about nature. This is a hint that he will now discuss his own theory. Nature already is going from material world to life world and to mental world. So nature herself is trying to bring in more perfection. This is a hint that he will take up and then finally come to his own conclusion. Okay? So we'll read this paragraph because we have to understand the way he writes. Okay? That's very important. So these are the three fundamental ways. We'll read this one. Okay? So it's 2 minutes past 8:40, so I'm stopping here today. Goodbye, everybody. Have a nice day. Okay.
Thank you, Rangada.
Thank you, Dada.
Thank you.
Over to Lamar.
Okay.